Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Travel. I'm Lisa Friend, and I'm delighted to be sharing with you my well-honed packing strategies from over 20 years of travel. So let's unpack this. Remember, I am a tour guide, and our policy at Rick Steves is to allow our tour members one carry-on size bag, plus a personal item like on an airline, but one carry-on size bag, because we want people to be able to cheerfully and comfortably carry their luggage through Europe. But let's start first with what does it mean to pack light? So the airlines say 9 by 21 by 14 inches and a personal item. So that is what I have here. That is what I live out of for up to 40 days at a time. So when people call me up, as they have done for a long time since I worked here, and said, I can't pack for 2 weeks in a carry-on size suitcase. Yes, you can. And what you really need are the 3 L's. And we're gonna unpack that and disclose those secrets to you this evening. So whether you choose a rolling carry-on, like my favorite preferred bag is our rolling carry-on, the simple ease of a backpack, or a lot of people like the spinner bag with 4 wheels. Whatever you choose, it isn't wrong. It's just a personal preference. I like the rolling carry-on bag. I know how to pack it very well, and that for me is the right bag for the job. But as I said, there are no wrong answers for that. So we've defined what it is to pack light, that 9 by 14 by 21. But why are we packing light? Is it because Rick Steves said so? Well, yes. But I'm going to do it in my own way, and I'm going to do it with more makeup and less button-down shirts. Other reasons for packing light. It saves you time. You don't need to wait in line to check your bag at the airport. That saves you an average of 30 minutes per trip. You don't need to wait at baggage claim at the end of your flight, thus getting a jump on the taxi line or getting to your destination quicker. And on the way home, this is very important, it lets you bypass all of those people who are sitting there at baggage claim waiting for their luggage to come out to get into the customs line. And that, at least at SeaTac Airport in Seattle, can be a really long line. So you're on the go from the minute you get off the airplane. More mobility equals more happiness. Both on your flight, through the airport, your destination, while you're traveling, you will be traveling with your bag a lot. And you might not think that, you might think, oh, it's not that big a deal, but you're going to be carrying your bag through airports and, let's show you, train stations. So I took the Eurostar train from Paris to London just about a month ago. And from the time I got out of the vehicle that dropped me off, I had a friend dropping me off in Paris, I walked with my luggage for probably a solid 15 minutes to get to the train. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, it is safer from the point of view that when you're taking trains, when you're carrying on, when you have a carry-on size bag, you can put it in those racks up above your head. If it's a larger bag, it's going to be at the end of the car, way out of your sight. And every time the train stops, you're going to worry if a thief has taken your big bag or not. So you'll feel better if your bag is closer to you. It is also almost always free to check your bag. And just today, most of the airlines, at least 6 airlines in the US, just increased their baggage fee by $5. So now it's between $35 and $40 to check your bag domestically. So carrying on will save you money. The other thing that for me is an even bigger impetus to carry on light is while I'm in town, when I'm getting from my big transportation to my hotel, if I can take public transportation, that's going to save me a lot of money over taking taxis. For example, I mentioned that I was just in Europe a month ago with my daughter. We were going from our hotel in downtown London out to Heathrow Airport. And normally we would take the Piccadilly line. We would have just walked 2 blocks with our luggage, gotten on the Piccadilly line straight out to Heathrow. But because the tube stop was closed by our hotel, and more importantly, I found out that my daughter had a pretty severe back injury, we decided to take a cab. So if we'd taken the tube, it would have cost about $15. Taking the taxi ended up costing us $125. So that's not an insignificant amount of money. You also have a better choice of hotels when you are packing light. Some of my favorite hotels don't have elevators. And I'm not super excited to lug a 26-inch, 45-pound bag up 4 flights of stairs. That's not my idea of a vacation. So with a carry-on size bag, it's more manageable. I'm happy to climb up the stairs, and then I can choose to stay at hotels with elevators or without elevators. Overpacking, to sum it up, leaves you like either Blanche Dubois or Bill Gates. You're either standing on a street corner relying on the kindness of strangers, or you're flipping money out to taxis, doormen, porters. You just will save a lot of money and be happier if you're packing light. Why does packing light cause us so much anxiety? Why do some of us dislike packing so intensely? I think it makes us anxious. And I think it makes us anxious because we set ourselves up to predict the future, and we're terrified that we're going to make the wrong mistakes. So we will often overpack just in case. What if we need that snorkeling gear just in case we go to the Riviera? This leads to overpacking. And what I want you to do, if I can give you anything to take away from this, is pack for the best case scenario, not the worst. You're not camping. You're not in the backcountry. You're in Europe. Everything that you need can be gotten. I, through years of travel experience, have learned to pack like 1 dose of over-the-counter medicine for a cold, for stomach upsets, for pain relief. I usually bring a little bit more because I know that's going to happen. My feet are going to hurt at some point. But what you want is to be able to have enough meds to get you through the night. And if those kinds of over-the-counter meds are not enough to get you through the night, then you probably need to go see a doctor. But if you carry just 1 dose of cold medicine or 1 dose of stomach upset situation, then the next morning you can go to the pharmacy and get that replaced. Also, I love running out of things in Europe. It gives me an excuse to go into a store and pick up something that might be toothpaste. I cheat now. It's a little bit more exciting and gambling, adventurous to just pick up something and go, meh, I think it is what I think it is, and that'll be good. But now you can use your camera with Google Translate and you can really figure some things out. But I enjoyed the time I was in Munich last year, and I wanted some spray-in leave-in conditioner for my hair. And I just went up to 2 teenage girls, asked them if they spoke English, and then asked for their recommendation. And we had quite a nice little chat, and I appreciate those opportunities to connect with people. So what are the 3 secrets to packing light? The 3 L's: layers, laundry, and lists. That's the magic, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into this. Layering clothes gives you the most flexibility. Let's look at a picture for that. So here I am in Amsterdam, and I can tell just by what's going on that it's probably April. It's probably a little bit cold. I know that I have a long sleeve shirt underneath this jacket, and I have a scarf, and I have a raincoat. If I were going to be really cold, I would throw on a sweater. But if I've got these layers with me, I can go from the Riviera to the Alps on the same trip, which honest to goodness I do all the time, and it'll give me enough to get through sort of anything. So what I take on a 14-day trip is exactly the same as what I would take for a 40-day trip, with the exception of I use disposable contact lenses, so I'm going to have to pack more contact lenses and more meds. So I'm going to have to pack more of my thyroid meds, more of my vitamins, more of my blood pressure medication. Sorry to give you too much information, but that's what I would adjust, and everything else would stay the same. Now, I have a clip of packing our clothes because I thought it would be a lot more exciting for you to see it speeded up than to literally watch me roll my clothes. I would like to please ask you to be kind, because I was so nervous doing this for the camera that I did not roll my clothes as tightly or as carefully as I would have liked to. They did get a little sloppy. And also, when I say I'm interested in rolling my clothes instead of putting them flat, folding them, it is because I like to take advantage of the ridges in my suitcase that are made by the handles. So let us start. stop this and let's show you the clip. Clothing choices that you make for your trip are very important. They're also pretty easy. If you'll notice, this shirt is patterned. It hides stains well. I also, when I go shopping, always give something the test, the wrinkle test. So I'll put it and I'll bunch it up. Oh, no wrinkle, or it doesn't show. Perfect travel clothes. I also love rolling my clothes. There are people who are in the camp of folding. There are people in the camp of rolling. I am firmly in the rolling camp. So let's get started. I like to make my suitcase with 2 layers. So my bottom layer is rolled clothes, and then I have my top layer, which is all of this stuff in quadrants, and I'll show you how that works. So let's get to packing. So I also find that while some of my clothes do get wrinkled, by putting them on, and I learned this from Rick, your body heat will make those wrinkles release throughout your morning. So it's not as big a deal as you might think. If you're the kind of person who really likes your clothes crisp, every hotel is going to have an iron that you can borrow from the front desk. And if you're ironing on vacation, God bless you. It's not me. Tight, tight, tight. Okay, so we've got our base layer down. It's all tucked in and tight. There's even still a few spaces where you could put things. But then we're gonna go with our second layer. You always wanna put your heaviest stuff towards your wheels. It'll make rolling it easier. So I have this lovely Eagle Creek double-sided, I call it my junk drawer. We'll get into that, but I put that down towards the bottom. I've got my Rick Steves toiletry kits, which looks really capacious and is, but you don't need that much stuff, so mine's sort of tuck that in like that. And then this is my socks, my underwear, my other bra, and my swimsuit. So you see these quadrants are happening. And then I have all of my makeup in here, tuck that right there. And on top of that, I have my extra pair of shoes. You always wear your biggest shoes on the airplane. These are my walking sandals with shoe covers, a la shower caps, free from hotels. And then I have my walking around bag. This is a brand new product that I am crazy about. It's made out of recycled water bottles. So I get my water bottle, I drink my water, this will carry it, and then I'll recycle it and it'll turn into another one of these bags. So just put that empty on top. And then the last thing I want to show you is our flat pack. And I use this exclusively for laundry. Once my socks and undies are dirty, I put them in here, roll it up, sucks all the air out, makes it flat, but keeps it isolated from my clean clothes. And actually, I'm just gonna tuck that in this pocket right here, zip it up, and then use my compression straps to just keep everything together. It makes zipping it a little bit easier. Just keeps everything together. And if there's anything I like to do, it's pretend that I'm together. Zip, zip, zip. Put it at the, always put your zippers at the top in case you're gonna check your luggage, because that will keep them safer from getting damaged. So this is all my clothes for my trip, whether it's 14 days or 40. And I can lift it, I can throw it, and I can toss it. So now we're going to mention our unmentionables. So I take 6 pairs of socks, 6 pairs of underwear, 2 bras, maybe 3 if it's summer and I think I'm going to perspire a lot, and my swimsuit. And we're going to put it all in our handy dandy packing cube. So I do like a pair of compression socks. These would normally be what I would wear on the airplane, but they're great also for long bus trips. So I like these, and they're gonna roll up tight, 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 and just stick in the corner. And I'm gonna do that here. And then my bra, any kind of, especially if you have any kind of molded cut bra, I put that right in the middle, and I've tucked my socks all around, and now my underwear. And you'll see that my underwear is large, but my socks are small, so it all evens out. And just get those tucked away in every little nook and cranny, right? And then I have my swimsuit, which I do wear because I'm gonna go swimming at least twice. If you are not a plus size person, you can buy a swimsuit over there if you feel like, and don't worry about packing it, but that's not me. So then, and this becomes a compression situation, right? All nice and tidy, good to go. Thank you so much for joining us during the clothing packing section of the talk. The second L is laundry. So you saw that I had 7 to 8 tops, short sleeve, long sleeve, a layering sweater, 3 to 4 bottoms, which are a mixture of capris and long pants, 6 pairs of underwear, 6 pairs of socks, 2 bras, a swimsuit, and a scarf, which is in my day bag. That allows me to create over a dozen different outfits, and it allows me to go at least a week between washing machine laundry. So I'll wash out my underwear and my socks in the sink every few days. It's a good idea to do that if you're staying 2 night stops or 3 night stops. It's a good idea to do it on the first night so that you have the most time to let it dry. And then I take my big clothes to the laundromat. I think it's really important that if you're going to do sink laundry, that you're very respectful of your host's furniture. I always get like super strong forearms from wringing out everything so it doesn't drip at all. I only hang my stuff over tiled surfaces. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. And then once a week or so, I go to a laundromat, and I thought you might want to see a European laundromat. So they're very common. Your hotel can tell you where the nearest one is, or your Rick Steves guidebook. The thing that I would want you to know, they almost always sell soap, so you don't need to bring anything except your dirty clothes. But one of the things that you will want to familiarize yourself with, if you even just like take a picture of this or or research it on your own, but knowing what the Celsius to Fahrenheit degrees is for doing your laundry, that's something that I find people struggling with, myself included. So that's something that's really important to have figured out before you get there. The other thing is, so laundromats, perfect. You can also book Airbnbs, VRBOs that have laundry facilities every few stops. So you're hitting it about once a week or so. A lot of hotels, especially mom and pop hotels, will do your laundry for you. And that's usually a set price. But if they're charging you per piece, like €2 for a pair of socks, the markup is usually way too high on that for me. And so I just pass on that. So I would like to introduce someone very special to us here at Monday Night Travel. She's our newest member of the team, a woman who also believes in layering, Emily Burks. Emily, come on over.
Hello, Lisa.
Hello, Emily.
Hello.
I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. Thank you for that warm welcome. And I'm so excited to be joining the Monday Night Travel team.
Me too. So you are new to the company-ish. You've been here about a year. But you're not new to travel. So will you tell our lovely audience about that, please?
Yes, that's right. So I actually was lucky enough to study abroad in Barcelona when I was a junior in college. And I, of course, had to bookend that with some traveling in Italy and Germany. Since then, I've done some backpacking in Japan and Australia. I most recently just dipped a toe in South America. So that is a place I am looking forward to spending a lot more time in the future. But I am no stranger to living out of a suitcase for weeks on end.
Well, you had something you wanted to share with us. So let me get that set up.
All right, so I just wanted to pop on and share my favorite packing light tip, which is planning outfits that you can dress up and dress down. And just as an example, I wanted to use my favorite slip dress. As you can see here, it is super easy to pack. It takes up hardly any room in my suitcase, which is one reason to love it, but it also can be styled in many, many different ways, aka dress up, dress down. So here I am wearing it with a cardigan and also with a white button up. And in both outfits, I just have my trusty New Balance sneakers that I love. And you know, to me, this looks pretty casual. It almost looks like I'm wearing a skirt, so I think it feels appropriate for daytime sightseeing activities. And yeah, this is to me a perfect sightseeing outfit because my shoulders are covered and my knees are covered, so I can go into any church or cathedral that I'd like to visit. And I also am ready to walk for miles with my New Balances and eat lots of pastries since my dress is very comfortable and breezy. So I'm ready for a full day of sightseeing. And here I have my Cinderella moment, I guess, where I just change my shoes and my put on some lipstick, and I'm ready for a nice dinner or a concert. And yeah, I just hope that this inspires you to think a little more before you leave about how you can just make small changes to the clothes you're planning to bring, to take you from, you know, the Vatican to the Colosseum to a nice dinner.
That is lovely. A night walk across Rome. Are those comfortable sandals too?
Those actually are comfortable sandals. I actually have put some miles on those, believe it or not.
So you are also here as a model this
Yes,
evening.
that's right.
So we're so excited. We are celebrating the 40th anniversary of our flagship book, Europe Through the Back Door, the Travel Skills Handbook. And so we have recreated one of our first ever patches that we used to give out to tour members, and the logo from the book, Europe Through the Back Door. And then on the back is sorry, I'm just tickle you a little bit. So Rick Steves Europe Through the Back Door. So it's a map of Europe with some of Rick's favorite spots and back doors, Dingle and the Cotswolds and all kinds of places. So that is on sale on our website now. And then because it's Emily's first night on Monday Night Travel, she is bringing you, the audience, a gift, an exclusive scoop. So what do you have to tell them, Emily?
Yes, so I am excited to tell you that we have a bag sale from March 13th through the 24th. All of our bags are going to be 20% off online and in our in our travel store here in Edmonds. And no coupons or promo codes are needed. So you can start shopping on the 13th.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for joining us, Emily. We'll see you soon.
Yes, I will see you guys all in the chat. So thank you for introducing me, Lisa.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited that she's here. So we will get back to our 3 L's, and the last L is lists. So lists can improve your packing anxiety immensely by allowing you to pack a few days in advance, marking all of the things off and not having to worry about forgetting anything. I think that's a really important tool in your toolbox for packing. So let's look at these. This is one that I am fond of. It's called Pactor. It's an app for your smartphone, but it's also a website. I like it because it's really customizable. So you tell it what kind of trip you want to have and it comes up with some ideas, but then you can change it all the way you want to, and you can email it to your friends, other people you're traveling with, your family. And so that I'm really fond of. And then if you're more of a pen and paper person, I'm going to show this picture twice. I like it so much. This is a packing list. This is a whole pad of packing lists. So you just write where you're going, anything you need to keep in mind, how many days you're going to be gone, and what you think the weather's going to be like. And then you, again, have this big list of things that you might need, and you just pack it along, and you can just leave it sitting on top of your suitcase so you know what you have packed. Because I think for me, at least, one of the biggest pieces of anxiety is, did I pack that? I can't remember if I packed it. I better pack another one. And once I ended up in Paris in a hotel room, and I had 7 hair ties. 3 is okay, but 7 is too many. So just having a list like that helps me a lot. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but there used to be a TV show called Absolutely Fabulous with these 2 wacky characters. And in one episode, they go traveling, and the very responsible daughter says to the mother, "Do you have everything?" And they take their giant suitcases out. "Yes, yes, we have everything." "Did you do this?" "Yes, we did that." And they go out the door, and 2 beats later, she comes back in running, "Tickets, money, passport, tickets, money, passport." And that is something that I swear to you, I say every time before I leave for the airport. Do I have my tickets, money, passport? Because with those things, I can make a trip happen. So let's look at your ticket, money, passport situation. So tickets these days are almost always boarding passes on your phone. So you really need to have your phone with you. Keep that with you. That's got a lot of information. I take my boarding passes and I put them into my Apple. I have an iPhone. I put it into my Apple Wallet, so it's sitting there. But I also take a screenshot of it. So in case I have any connectivity issues, I can show that there. I also will use that wallet for different other reservations. You can see here that I went to the Louvre a few weeks ago, and I had my Louvre tickets in my wallet. And then I have my money belt. I wear my money belt like it is a religion, maybe because I am a creature of habit and I have to have these special tools that I have to have every time in order to keep me sane. In my money belt, which I wear next to my underpants, under my clothes, I have my passport, my debit card, my credit card, my driver's license, just in case I want to rent a car, or as I found out recently, just to use for ID for something. I wanted to rent a golf cart at Versailles, and they wouldn't let me do that because I didn't have a driver's license. I did not understand because it was a golf cart, but that was the thing. So now I always bring my driver's license with me. And then my big money. So I will go to Europe and I will have very little money on me. Maybe I have some euros left over for another trip. I don't go to Europe without any cash. I always want to have at least either some euros, like up to 50 euros that I got from friends, or, frankly, I work at a company called Rick Steves Europe. So it's pretty easy to find people who have leftover euros. But if you don't, you could go to your bank and get 50 or 60 euros before you leave. Or I've also been known to take US cash, about $100 worth. And then if I do get to the airport and every cash machine is not working, then I can take my $100 and I can take it to the exchange rate and get a fairly lousy exchange rate, but at least it will get me to my hotel and to another cash machine. I still do believe a lot in cash, even though you can do so much with contactless. But for things like tips, cash is really important. For small markets, I find that having some cash is better. And sometimes it's just faster. If you have some cash, you can just, pay for your coffee faster than waiting for somebody to go and get the machine and bring it to you. Also bathrooms. So there are a lot of places in Europe where you have to pay for the privilege of using the bathroom. And that is almost like 50 cents or €1. And yes, sometimes they do have contactless, but sometimes they don't. And when you're really in the mood to use the bathroom, then you're not really going to want to wait around to see if you can, pay by credit card. You just want to get in and get her done. So that is something that is important to me. I always take a little coin purse. This one has a little green man on it. And that helps me corral my money, and that's what I keep in my day bag. So that's going to have about 40 or 50 euros worth, and all my coins. You know how I love to corral my coins into a coin purse. So that would be what I would use that for. So liquids, or the bane of my existence. So you know the rule, you have to have a quart-sized bag. Nothing can be over 100 milliliters, I think, or 3.4 ounces. You want to check me on that, but basically everything needs to fit in there. And so, you know, I have that. I have it with me tonight. And I go through security with this, and then it's done. And then what I do is I find a quiet place, because then I want to repack everything, because some of the liquids in here are important for me to have on the airplane. So I want to show you a couple of different things that's important to me. One of them is my tiny thing of Purell. And what I really want to share with you is my seat back organizer. Now, we at Rick Steves call this the classic toiletries kit. And it's very inexpensive, but well made. But I don't use it as a toiletry kit. I use it as a seat back organizer to keep everything that I need with me on the plane handy. So for a couple of reasons. One, I realized a long time ago that without my glasses, I'm pretty nearsighted. I can't see very well at all. And if I'm on a flight overnight, which is most often the case, the lights are dim, and I'm not really going to be able to find a lot of things in the seat pocket. I heard tales of people leaving iPads and phones in the seat back pockets. And I just wanted something to keep things all together. So I came up with this organizer, and it has everything I need for my flight. So I'm going to stop the screen share. I hope you guys all got a good look at this, because this to me is some really important stuff. So I will have moved my Purell into here so that I can make my hands clean on the plane. And I'm just going to show you everything I put in here. An eye mask. This is so helpful. I actually feel like I did a study by not traveling with these for a few trips and then traveling with it. And I feel like I did get a little bit deeper sleep. I like these. They're molded super light, but they're molded so you can open your eyes and flutter your eyelashes or have REM sleep and nothing is touching your eye. So that to me is very important. Sometimes you have no control over the temperature on your flight and you just want to cool off. Now, if they have the airflow, the personal airflow vents, I always turn that on me because I tend to be warm on flights, but also because that air is filtered and it's the cleanest air. So by having the air come right at you, you're sort of keeping other people's germs away. But I was on an Air France flight earlier this year and they didn't have those, and I just thought that the airplane was sweltering. So I did this quite a bit. It's made of cork, so it's recyclable, and it's very light. And then I have a mask just in case my seat mate happens to be coughing. Pen, you know what that's for. Couple of different things. So my meds for the airplane, I will be honest with you, my doctor has given me a prescription for muscle relaxants. I've tried everything that you can try under the sun for sleeping on the plane, and that's the thing that works best for me. Also, to fight jet lag, I find that a really important strategy is to go to Europe well rested. You know, make sure that you're not shorting yourself on sleep. You know, the days leading up to when you go, like, be really well rested, and then you have that sort of in your tank when you have to go for 24 hours or more with very little sleep, like what happens on an overnight flight. But that's got my medicines that I need to take on the plane, like in the morning, and it's got my muscle relaxant. So that's my meds. And then I have, you know, I have my lip balm because flying is drying you out. I have hard candies because I'm turning into my grandmother, but it's also good for your throat and it makes you have nice breath for your seatmate. I found these a few years ago and I travel with these. These are reading glasses that you wear around your neck. And so you just have them at all times, and I find them to be very handy, and they're light and I love them. And then this is, so eye drops because I said I'm a contact lens wearer, and this is something that I started flying with a few years ago. This is a little treat. You really don't need this, but it's a little transmitter that you plug into the in-flight entertainment, and then it sends a Bluetooth signal to your Bluetooth headphones. These are great because these are noise canceling. And so I use that. It helps block out a lot of sound and you can really hear the thing. But this is just, it's a nice thing to have. You know what really also works is these wired headphones that I also bring, because the batteries can run out on your Bluetooth things, but they have the kind that stick really nicely into your ear, and they have these over ear hooks that I really like. So I bring those, and then I have glasses for vision, glasses for reading. I have a charger for my Apple Watch that just sticks into the USB port right there on the airplane, so I can charge my watch if I want to, and it's light, it doesn't take much for me to carry it. And then I have these loop earplugs. These are real earplugs in that no sound is getting through. They don't have any fancy noise canceling thing. They're just block the sound out, and they're tiny, and I like them, and so I brought them. And then the last thing I have another breath mint and a binder clip. I don't know why, but I got this, and I'm really fond of it because it is USB on one side, and then on the other side, it has multiple adapters. So it has a lightning adapter for my iPad. It has a USB-C adapter for my new iPhone and for my headphones. And then it has a micro, what do we call these? Micro USBs that fits my Kindle and something else I can't remember that it charges. So I need all of these, and this is great because I'm just carrying one cord and I can use all of these, and I think that that's really clever. So that is everything I take on the airplane, but I just hang it up, right? So I can hang it either on and I can zip it up so everything is inside. So you could have it open or closed because all of the pockets inside zip. But I just hang that either on the seat pocket in front of me a little bit lower, or a lot of the airplanes still have a little hook, like a coat hook at the tray table, and I can hook it there. So that to me is something I will not travel without. So let's go back to our slides. So that is everything that I just talked about that you can see again, including the very exciting binder clip. And then it's important that we talk about toiletries. So I have everything in my toiletries kit. Get that out, which I mentioned was very capacious. Everything is in here. You don't really need to see it. It's not that important, but I do want to talk about one of the things that people ask me a lot about, which is prescription medication. So I already told you about the medication I take. You see that there are 2 bottles, but really the one is for the airplane. And I hate to admit it, but I mix and match my medicines. As long as they're a different color from each other, like one is pink, one is white, it's very easy to tell. For me, that's the way I do it. I have never had an issue. I have never been stopped. I've got my vitamins in there too. Luckily, they're ginormous and not easy to mix up with anything else. But I just put them all in there. I count them. I have a ritual of counting all my pills and then putting them in. And that's always a good time. But that's what I do. I can tell you that the rules are you're supposed to have everything in separate, easily, clearly labeled containers with the prescription on there. In reality, I have never been checked. It has never been an issue, but I do always have my prescriptions on my phone. So if anything happens, then I can sort of prove here, this is my high blood pressure medication, and this is what it looks like. So also last year, somebody got sick and I had to take over a tour. So I had planned for a trip that was like 32 days. And then somebody got sick and I had to stay on another 18 days. And by having all of my prescriptions in my medical portal, I was able to go and get them filled. at a local pharmacy. And that works most of the time. It depends on the country that you're in and what the medications are, but that's something I want you to think about. The other thing I want to point out in this picture, since we talked about the prescription medication, but if you look on the lower left corner, you see a little tiny spray bottle. I have it right here. This is one of my favorite things to bring. I hoard little bottles like a crazy person, but you can find things like this on Amazon. This is a bed spray linen from a Holiday Inn, but I have refilled it with mosquito repellent. So I don't need very much, but when I'm in Florence and I'm sitting outside, I might just spray a little bit around my ankles. Or if I know there's a mosquito in my room in Venice, I will just spray it and it works really well. I like a brand called Repel, which is all natural. You can use whatever you want, but I think just this is a little form of safety that I like to bring with me. So I mentioned that I love to go to pharmacies and stores in Europe. And one of the things I like is that their sizes are different. So we tend to, even if we're not shopping at Costco, our society has very large items no matter what. And this is a little Colgate travel size toothpaste that I got here. And then when it ran out, for example, I went to a store in Germany and I got this Komplett Ultra Weiss, and it's just a really nice size, and I'll probably use it for traveling really often. So that is my toiletries kit. And then you may be thinking, Lisa, what is in your junk drawer? Well, so this is a two-sided packing cube. I got it from REI. It's made by Eagle Creek. It's nice because it's sort of waterproof on one side and breathable on the other. But this is where I just store all my essentials, because we talked about what you need for clothing, but I think it's important to talk about what we take that's not clothing. So I mentioned earlier, you guys got a good look at that, I hope. We're gonna go through this one by one, but quickly. So I have some powder for my feet. I have this fantastic Tap Secret dry shampoo. This is light and it really, really works. And it's so much smaller than if you were using dry shampoo that is an aerosol. And if you're not using dry shampoo, well, maybe your hair never gets greasy, but mine does. And so I'm a firm believer in this, especially if you just need to run out of the hotel in the morning and you didn't have time for a shower, or you got a little bit sweaty. This is lovely. I really like that. My pain relievers, which I do pack more than one night's worth because I know that something's going to hurt at some point, and it is much cheaper to bring these from home. It's the same thing I have in my purse when I'm here. But one dose of Sudafed for allergies, just decongestant. I wanted to show you my other meds all at once, but we'll get to them. Oh, there it is. So, and then just when you absolutely have to sleep, this is that kind of cold medicine, one dose, and then to the pharmacy the next day. Things you don't need, but I do: business card with a hair tie, sewing kit, which I get for free at hotels still, thank goodness, need that. I always bring a couple of Band-Aids. So I have 3 Band-Aids in different sizes, very light. I don't bring a whole box. I've always got just tissues hanging around. Post-it notes, just for me, for working. You can choose to bring that or not. Your vaccine card, I still bring mine just in case. I've got this liquid IV because I heard it was really good for jet lag. My son recommended it to me, so I'm going to try that out just to make my water a little bit different tasting sometimes. And then I've got a pair of sunglasses. And I always have a little spoon in case I want to eat some yogurt. This is made, I think, of bamboo or balsa wood. It's very light. And then more binder clips. You know, the secret for using binder clips is you can use them to make your blinds close completely in a hotel room. You might need slightly larger than this, but I use these very often for holding together a chapter out of Rick Steves' books. And then I have a paper clip, and then I have a wireless charger. So this is a power bank that just goes on the back of my phone. But what I really like about it, so it's easy to carry around and it's charging my phone. But what I really like about it is that I can also use it as a mobile battery for my Apple Watch. And I love traveling with my Apple Watch. I use it to pay for things all the time. I think it's just the safest, easiest way to do something. I just go and then contactless paying for things. So I really like that. So that's my wireless charger. And then I have my brick, and I have one with two, one USB and one USB-C. Doesn't really matter. Just for me, it should be more than one. If I were traveling with my family, we'd probably have a full-on power strip. But this is a built-in voltage converter. So you need that to convert the voltage, but you need these to convert your plug. So these are plug adapters. So these are European continental ones. And we sell these for like $3, so I always have 2 or 3. They are the thing that you're most likely to lose when you're traveling, but they are also the thing you're most likely to find in a wall socket. So that's very helpful. And then if I'm traveling to Britain, I need to do this as well. And when you're traveling in Britain and your things are not charging, it's probably not this adapter's fault. A lot of people don't know that there's an actual on-off switch on the electrical outlet that you need to turn on so that the voltage will start coming. So that's something to keep in mind. And then I have, so I have 2 charging cords, the one with all the multi-prongs and then just a regular one, so I can charge things at night. And then on the other side, I have a couple of items. So I have, this is just a packet with jewelry and feminine hygiene situation stuff. And then I have my coin purse for my walking around money. You saw a picture of a different one. I've always got a spare Ziploc bag or 2 or 3, some hair ties because obsessed. My brush, so this is a metal brush, and I don't bring a curling iron. I don't bring a blow dryer. Everywhere I go, there's a blow dryer. And then I just heat this up and use it as kind of a curling iron, but I don't worry that much about my hair. Often I'll just try and dry it a little bit and then put it up in one of my fabulous ties. And then when that comes undone, then it has curls and it's lovely. And then this little sneaky thing is made of cork. So it's really light, but this is the best little massage ball. So I can use it on my feet. I can use it on my back. And for me, it's just a little luxury item that I like to bring along. So that is working very well for me. We're going to put some of this stuff away so we have some more room. I hope you guys are enjoying this, because it is my firm belief that packing light and right will make your life easier and make your trip better. Because what I tell our tour members when they call on the phone is, we want you to cheerfully and comfortably carry your bags. It's hard to be cheerful when you're carrying a 40-pound bag up 5 flights of stairs. Oh, look, more hair ties. All right, so what else do we have to talk about? I wanted to show you guys my makeup, and men, please don't leave now. There is something important that I want to share with you. So let's go back to our screen. And there's only really a couple things to talk about. So this is all my makeup. It's eyeliners and brows and foundation and highlighters and concealers and mascara, etc. But what's important is at the top of the screen, this blue fabric is a washcloth. It's a microfiber washcloth that we sell. But what's important is that you guys know that most European hotels don't provide washcloths. So I don't want you to get over there and not know that. So that to me is really important. And then the world's tiniest little eye makeup remover. So that is my makeup kit. And then my personal item is this bag. This is the Veloce bag. It's a lot of bag and it expands. You don't necessarily need this big a bag, but I am a tour guide, so I have a lot of stuff going on. And this is what's inside. So I have, you can see I have pens, and I have my batteries and my chargers. And one also thing that I like a lot is powder sunscreen. So I think this is sold by, oh, I've rubbed it off, you can't see it. But powder sunscreen, I like it, especially because I find myself getting sunburnt around my hairline. So I have that. I have my Rick Steves books. And you can see, if I stop the screen share, you can see that Rick will advise you to rip your books up, which I have done, taken out the sections that I know for sure I won't need. So they don't even go over the pond with me. They stay at home. But then when I'm out and about and I'm like, okay, well, we're going to St. Andrews for the day, kids, I will take that section. Please, I don't want to hear the librarians crying. I hate to do it too, but I hate packing heavier more. So I will just take that out with all those strong forearms that I got from wringing all my laundry out. And then I take my little tiny binder clip there. And then this is what I walk around with during the day, not a 2-pound book. So I've got that in my bag. I've got my guiding notes. I've got some paperwork, a lot of work stuff, but then I also have my iPad for work and also for, entertainment while you're on the road. So I have my iPad. I've got a cheesy magazine I picked up in London. I've got all my papers, and you'll have papers too. Even if you're not guiding, you're going to want to take some of that stuff with you. And I mentioned my guiding notes, my tour manual, the Rick Steves books, depending on how many you need. But then I have 2 other things in here. One, this is my water bottle. This is flat, and it really makes a lot of difference to me to be able to slip it in and out of my bag easily. So it goes in the middle, and then what I put in my water bottle pouch on the side of my bag is actually my umbrella. So my umbrella is pretty light, but it sticks there, and this is my water. The only problem is a lot of my tour members just sort of accused me of drinking from a flask, I said, well, it's the vodka. It wasn't, it was the water. And then the last thing I have in my bag is I have my travel CPAP machine. So that's pretty easy, but that's one of the reasons why, even if I'm not guiding and I don't need such a big bag, that I have this in there, because I'm going to have that whether I'm traveling as a guide or not. So that is what is in my personal item, my personal bag. And this just sits in the airplane underneath my feet in front of me. It all fits back in there quite easily. And then we're almost finished with this talk, but I wanted also to talk about traveling as a family. So let's get that back on the screen. There's the water bottle again. My kids have been traveling to Europe since they were babies. So this is a trip that we took. My son was 12, my daughter was 7. And you can see that everyone has a Rick Steves carry-on size bag. So when they're little, like Nora was not expected to carry her own bag. We packed a backpack for her that either her dad or I carried on our back. And she didn't have to worry about it, but she carried her little purse and she had her stuff. When she was older, she got her own backpack and then she carried her own stuff. And as soon as they're capable of doing that, I think that's a great idea. You don't want to pack too heavy, even when you're packing with children and packing for car trips in Europe, because they don't have the same amount of trunk space that we do. So we rented a van. This was quite a while ago. My mother and father-in-law, my husband, myself, the 2 kids, so 6 people in a van in Europe, and we all fit, but it was tight. And what we really didn't factor in enough was how much luggage would take. And we all only had a carry-on size bag, but that was still 6 carry-on size bags did add up. And then the last thing I want to say, I'm showing you this picture again of this packing list by Knock Knock, but this is fantastic with kids. So what you can do with kids is you fill it out for them, tell them how many of everything they need to bring, and then hand it to them and say, go pack your bag. And that gives them ownership of the task. It helps cut down on their decision making. I find it really pleasant. If you want to go in and check that they did it correctly, then I think that's absolutely fine and dandy, but I think it's a nice way to pack for a family. So I would like to say thank you very much for listening to my packing talk. We're going to segue to a word from our sponsor. If I can find what I'm looking for. I did such a nice job of packing. I'm looking for my luggage tags. I don't know where they went. Well, let's hold the phone on the luggage tags. Oh, my handy friend Ben has them for me. I think somebody might have walked off with them. So this is a word from our sponsor. This is one of our new products that I am super excited about. They're $9.99. I think they're going to be on sale probably around the same time as the bag sale. But right now they're $9.99, so basically $5 each. They're made of some sort of silicone and rubber. And I used one of them on that trip I just took with my daughter, and they came back looking brand new. One is of the cathedral in Florence, the Duomo, and the other one is Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria. And I just really like these. And then you have a card, and you put your information in it. And so I think those are super fun and I really like them. And I know a lot of us gave them as gifts over the holidays and people were pretty happy with them, but I was very impressed with their durability. So we did a word from our sponsor. Let us see what Ben has sent us with your questions. So Virginia asks, do European hotels have a stretch cord to hang clothes dry? Sometimes, not often. No, that's the answer. Sometimes, but not often. I would be prepared to bring your own clothesline. Let's see. Martin, what is the best way to be sure your carry-on will meet airline size requirements? I have, I don't know what you call it, a tailor's tape, the kind of tape that my mom used for sewing. And I make sure that I measure everything, and that's important. You always want to double check what your airline requirements are, because some of them do have weight requirements. And I will be honest, even though I'm a carry-on packer, if I'm using one of those flights in between, say so the tours I'm doing this spring, I'm going to do a Heart of Italy tour that ends in Florence, and then I'm going to start a Best of Europe tour that starts in Amsterdam. So I'm going to fly from Florence to Amsterdam. I will probably be taking something like EasyJet or Transavia, and I'm fine with that, but I'm going to pay the money to check my luggage, because it's a direct flight, it's short, and I just feel like they make their money finding ways to not let you carry your bag on so that they can charge you more money for it there. So I just upfront, I pay the money to have that with you. Oh, Betty wants to know, do you carry your passport with you or leave it at the hotel? I carry it with me everywhere. Technically, you're supposed to carry identification with you everywhere you go in the Schengen zone. So my passport fulfills that requirement. Also, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I just put my shoe in the safe the night before I'm going to check out so I don't forget my passport. The only time I ever have people leave their passports behind are when they used the hotel safe. So I'm not worried about somebody breaking into my hotel in the middle of the night while I'm there and stealing my passport. And when it's the daytime, unless I'm swimming at the beach, I have my passport with me with my money belt. So that is what I do. Anne wants to know, how much does my suitcase weigh? The suitcase that I just packed and took to London a couple weeks ago was 19 pounds. I did have a pretty heavy jacket that I was wearing, so I didn't put that inside my suitcase. But I think if it's in between 19, 20, 22 pounds, I tried to show you by like lifting it and tossing it and then throwing it at poor Emily, how light it was. I don't think it's ultralight. I just think that I'm a strong person and I can lift it above my head, and it's not an issue if it's 22 pounds. So Judith asked, you mentioned the tube. How about the Heathrow Express? The Heathrow Express would have been great. And I have used it many, many times and I like it. It just wasn't the choice that we made that day. Nancy wants to know, do most hotels have an iron or a steamer? Yes, most of them have irons. Who makes the recycled what bottle bag? Oh, Libby, gosh, I'm so glad you asked. So this is a brand new bag that's going to be available in April. I think it is so chic and minimalist. It's called the Copenhagen Crossbody, and I'm going to be using it as soon as they will let me. But I've checked out all of the features and I am very excited for this. I did take a prototype with me, so it's very close, but I just am so excited about this bag. So this will be the bag that I take with me during the day, because I don't always want to carry my big backpack, and museums have really cracked down on letting people take backpacks in. So I just, for years that was all I carried and it was just fine, but I don't want to have to check it at every museum I go to. So I like a crossbody bag for that. And this one I'm so excited about. All right. Deb asked, do smaller planes flying within Europe have tighter restrictions? Yes, so I mentioned that already. So they do, and I do pay to check my luggage with those. Michael asks, what are your packing suggestions for bringing souvenirs home? Well, Michael, I will tell you that I often check my bag on the way home. That suitcase expands, and it can be, and so my suitcase expands and the personal item expands. So I will be bringing home some souvenirs. I usually at least once a year bring home a bottle or two, in a tin is the best way to do it, of good olive oil. I'm also a big fan of scarves. I have an incredible collection of scarves that I bring home. And all of my coworkers like it when I bring home some edible souvenirs like Michoco chocolate caramels or macarons. They make that known that that's a great thing to do. Sharon asked, do you ever use packing cubes? Yes. So this is a Rick Steves packing cube, and it has my socks and my underwear and my bra and my swimsuit. So always I use a packing cube for that. And then technically my junk drawer is a two-sided packing cube. So I use 2 packing cubes on every trip. Maureen, advice for CPAP travel. So I did go ahead and buy a travel CPAP. And so you saw how big it was. I got the recommendation from one of my tour members because I used to carry the other one around all the time. The interesting thing that I learned about my regular size CPAP is I didn't actually have to put distilled water in it. According to the representative that I talked to on the phone, you can do it without water. You just turn the humidification sensor, trigger, whatever, you just turn that off and you can use it dry and it's not that big a deal. And because I have been to every pharmacy looking for distilled water, and when I couldn't use distilled water, I would get a vinegar at hotels and clean it out that way. And that was a pain in the neck. So then I learned you could use it dry, and I did that for one whole season. And then I bought my travel CPAP last year and I've been very happy. So somebody was asking, what about a converter? So this is the voltage converter, and then this is a plug adapter. So maybe one more question. Do hotels typically have soap and shampoo? Yes, almost all of them. What I don't find is conditioner, which is why I bring a carry-on size thing full of conditioner. And then I will also bring some spray-on leave-in conditioner. And between the two, I can usually go for 30 days or so without having to buy more. I would like to thank you very, very much for joining us tonight. I hope that you will join us next week when we will be back with the Paddle Pilgrim. We'll talk to Dave Ellingson, who is going to talk about paddling the fjords of Norway, and I think that's going to be a pretty great show. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night, everyone.